Hi, it's Alaska Granny. As preppers, we try to do the best we can to stock up on food and supplies. Knowing how to store food properly can help it last the longest. Most likely, we prefer to have fresh food on hand, but that isn't always possible that we have it available or that it may be available in the future. Knowing how to can, how to freeze, and how to dehydrate foods can go a long way on helping you preserve the foods that you have now into the future. It's wonderful if you have a big deep freezer and you can fill it to the brim, knowing that you have a nice stockpile of extra food on hand. But there are foods that you should never freeze. The first type of foods that you should never try to freeze are leafy greens, like salad greens. Also salad ingredients like tomatoes, celery, radishes. They don't do well in the freezer. They aren't going to be the same once you try to freeze them as salad vegetables. There are ways that you can process those foods, of course. Thinking you can slice your salad, put it in the freezer, and take it out and eat it is just not possible. If you've ever grown a garden, you know how quickly those foods become just terrible once the freeze hits your garden. One of the things you can do with leafy greens is dehydrate them. Just pile the leaves in there, dehydrate them. You could crumble them up. Now they're perfect to go into smoothies or even crumble them up into soups and stews. And you're getting the nutrition of your fresh greens, but it's not the same as having a salad for sure. Potatoes that are in things like stews don't freeze well because they just seem to turn mushy. Leftover fried potatoes also do not store well in the freezer. Cooked and fried potatoes are a food that once you prepare them, you need to finish them because they're not going to store well in the freezer. Cooked pasta is also difficult to freeze. It gets very mushy. What about something like a frozen lasagna? If you do want to prepare that ahead of time, undercook the noodles, put your dish together, wrap it well, and put it in the freezer because during the baking process, it will finish cooking the noodles. Whereas if they're already completely cooked, the long baking time for a frozen lasagna can really make the noodles mushy and they just don't turn out to be as appetizing as you might enjoy. Foods like mayonnaise and salad dressing that include eggs, lemon, and vinegar tend to separate, and they do not maintain their deliciousness when they've been frozen either. So store those in your pantry until you open them, but then store them in the refrigerator and try to use them within a few months so that the product does not become wasted. That's one reason to try to buy smaller sizes of things like mayonnaise or salad dressing, or only open one or two at a time so that you maintain the freshness as long as possible. If you see something like a gallon jug of mayonnaise, that might be a good bargain, but if you can't use it all up once you open it, then it becomes wasted. So don't buy gigantic sizes of foods that you know you can't eat up in a reasonable amount of time. If you buy foods like mayonnaise and salad dressing in sizes that you can reasonably use before they become spoiled, then you're getting the most for your family's food dollars by using every bit of the food that you bought. Then once that jar is gone, you can reach into your pantry and get another one, and now you have fresh and safe food to eat in your pantry. Hard cheeses, yes, you can freeze them, but then they're not going to be perfect for your charcuterie board, but they're going to be great if you want to crumble them over other foods. So yes, you can freeze your hard cheeses, but it does change the consistency of your cheese. Did you realize milk can be frozen? When my parents first lived outside of Fairbanks, Alaska in the 1940s, foods all came on barges and the milk arrived frozen. But it's best if you can refrigerate it as it thaws. Don't leave it on the counter. Store it in the refrigerator and then shake it every now and then. Take it out and shake it as it's thawing out to help mix the milk solids and the liquids back together. The quality isn't going to be the same as fresh milk that you care to drink, so you may want to use any milk that you've frozen as milk in cooking. What if you're a new mother? Yes, it's perfectly safe to freeze your breast milk. How do you warm breast milk? Keep it in the enclosed container and put that container into a bowl of warm water, or let warm water run over your bag. Don't put it into hot water though. Don't ever put it in the microwave. Test the temperature of the milk before you feed it to your baby. Proper storage and preparation of foods can help us have the foods we want for the longest amount of time, but we do need to make sure that we remember the foods that should never be frozen so that we make the most of storing them correctly and using them to get the full value out of our grocery dollars. If you enjoyed my video, I hope you'll share it with someone else you think might like it. Please subscribe to the Alaska Granny channel.